Hello, I'm Frank Hannaway, and welcome to Big Journey, Small Steps. Well, this is the second part of my anniversary edition, my 1 year of doing a weekly video on YouTube, and this actually is 1 year ago that I started. And I wanted to talk today about all the things I've learned over the past year. So, and I mean, I'm not talking about the spiritual things, I'm talking about the hands-on technical mechanical stuff that I had to learn in order to do the YouTube channel, which was one of the things that really appealed to me. So right off the bat, I thought, okay, I'm going to do this with an iPhone, and then I was doing it with the iPhone and no microphone, which wasn't very good. And then I found out I had to buy a special microphone that was the same impedance or something as the iPhone, and I got that. And after a little while, I wasn't satisfied with the quality of that, and I got a little better video camera. And then I started noticing, I was checking out all the YouTube channels that really appealed to me, and I was noticing that people had really sharp looking thumbnails. In other words, when you go on YouTube and you pull something up, what you see, that little picture there, is a thumbnail. And so I started making those in Photoshop Elements. And my Photoshop Elements was really out of date, and I was going to upgrade it, and then I found out that you could buy a subscription that was really reasonable to Photoshop. And so I started learning Photoshop. And at that time, I was editing video in iMovie. So I really got into Photoshop, and I thought, boy, Photoshop would be enormously better if I had some good quality pictures. So at Christmas, I bought a camera. That was my Christmas present from my mom. And I started really getting into photography and learning about that and learning how to edit in Photoshop. It was exciting. And as time went on, I got a little better camera, and then eventually I got the Canon 70D that I shoot video on today, and I also take pictures with. I like to do art photography, and I've just gotten so into photography. I've shot an engagement, I've shot a bat mitzvah, I've done some headshot sessions. So anyway, I really enjoy it. I don't want to be professional. I want to be good at it. And so that was all because of the thumbnail I needed. Well, I also learned pretty up front that the major thing that made the difference in a video was lighting. And I bought these two cheap softbox lights that I'm still using to this day, and I'll put a picture up of them. It changed everything, except that I had this trouble with my glasses. Watch this. When I turn my face up like this, I get glare. Well, for a long time, I didn't know where to put the lights, and I was just fighting glare, and I was so miserable. Every week, I was just like, oh, that's so disappointing. And then I would watch major YouTubers, and their glasses would glare too. But eventually, I started to get that worked out. And then I started to get more inventive backdrops because of photography and wanting to take portraits. I took a lot of self-portraits because I was here alone. And it's a great way to learn photography if you can take pictures of yourself. But the other thing that happened was, as I looked at the pictures in Photoshop, I would see the same blemishes on my face every time. And I thought, well, maybe I could figure out a little concealer or something. And I thought about it a long time. And then eventually I went on YouTube and I typed in concealer for men, and all these channels popped up about makeup for men. And I realized how many men, mostly young gay men, but a lot of men of all ages, the majority are in that other demographic, but I can't call myself young. But I thought, okay, well, this will solve a problem that every time I take a picture of myself, I don't have to fix this and this and this and this and this. I'll put a little makeup on it. And I got fascinated by it because it was the one thing as a kid, when I talked about gender a few weeks ago, I always wanted to wear makeup. I didn't really want to wear dresses, and though I do like kilts. I didn't want to wear dresses and all that stuff, but I always wanted to wear some makeup. And I remember when I was 18 or 19 wearing a little mascara, and I did it really wrong, so it was really obvious. But anyway, the big trend now for most men is to either be okay with what you do and wear a full face makeup, or to learn to put on makeup so that it improves your appearance, but it's not really noticeable. And so that's perfect for making videos, because then you look a little more alive, you look a little more rested. So anyway, so that's what I do today. And someday I'll talk about what I do exactly, but not today. So also I had started editing my video in Photoshop. I found out you could edit video in Photoshop, but it was still a little clunky. And a couple months ago, I decided to look into getting the whole Adobe suite, and I've started editing video in Premiere Pro. And I just love it. So I've learned video, I've learned photography, I've learned about makeup, I've learned all these different programs. I'm learning Illustrator now to be able to do animations. I've got After Effects, I've got all these things. And this week, the new technology is I'm recording the videos separately, and then I found out at a better quality right into my computer. And then what I found is I can sync that with the audio that the camera does. I've been using a little clip-on lapel mic that I just hate. I just hate putting it on every time. So this time I'll show you if I can do this without making a lot of noise. I've got a microphone right here. Anyway, and it's going directly into the computer, and then I'll sync all those things together, and I'll have a better quality audio. Now, that also means something else. It's a surprise that's coming up that I've been promising for a long time, and I think I finally have it worked out. So anyway, I'm down to, I think I spend between a half an hour and an hour now putting a video together. I used to spend hours and hours, but like this week I filmed it and I was too far back. It's a long story. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the white balance. So I just refilmed it. It's not a big deal. So that's what I got for you today. And I want to thank you for spending this time with me. And from the bottom of my heart, as always, I would love to wish you peace and joy.